you've listed out some wonderful stocks for some wonderful funds right here, which have given stellar returns, especially in the last 1 year, the kind of returns that you mentioned, up to 40% odd as well, and despite being on a
Yes.
high base. But in case one were to understand even a longer performance, maybe a 10-year or a 20-year performance, have any of these funds existed for that long? And what are the kind of long-term returns that we've seen here? Because we're actually talking to all the investors and viewers to have a long-term vision from today. So, something like a 10, 15 years from today. So it will be great if they can also get that vision of how have some of these funds performed.
So, Sakshi, you'd be very pleasantly surprised to know that several of these funds have more than a 25 year history in the Indian markets, and they have fantastically outperformed both the Sensex and the Nifty. I'll give you an example of SBI Large and Mid Cap, DSP Equity Opportunities, Tata Large Mid Cap, ICICI Pru Large Mid Cap. These funds over the last 2 decades, each year they have compounded anywhere between 18% and 22%. So if you use the rule of 72 and
Mm-hmm.
you divide the least best performer, which is ICICI Pru, it shows that your money has doubled in 4 years, right?
Hmm.
So in 8 years, it's gone up 4 times. In 12 years, 16 times. In uh, you know uh, 16 and 20 years, the magic of compounding has worked very well. If you
Yeah.
look at 22% at which SBI large and mid cap has appreciated each year over the last 20 years,
Yeah.
your money doubles in about 3 years and 4 months. And just look at how beautifully the compounding happens.
Yeah.
And by doing nothing, by just putting in a lump sum, or if you do an SIP, those 5,000 rupee SIPs have turned people into crore-patis
Yeah.
by typically doing just nothing, ensuring that you have 5,000 rupees invested each month. And if
Yeah.
you're really lucky, raising that amount by 10% a year. These
Yeah.
returns have been fantastic, Sakshi. They've, traveled the aspirational rally that we've seen on the Sensex and the Nifty. I remember the Sensex at 3,000 somewhere in 2001, after the Twin Towers were
Yes.
taken down in the US. Now it is at 65,000. That's a 20%. That's a 20-time appreciation, and that's what's
Yes.
happened here. These funds have appreciated faster than the Sensex, but
Yeah.
all that is needed is a mindset which says, I will not stop my SIPs. I will continue to systematically invest and prosper.
Uh-huh.
And that's how money is made in the easiest possible way. And I can assure you, even from these levels, some of these funds will compound at a rate of 14-15% annually for the next 2 decades.
There are absolute blue chip funds out there in the markets. There are only mid cap focused funds also out there in the market. And the list that we are showing are largely a mixture of both large and mid cap. So, how does one really approach them, all three the baskets that are present over there? Why does it make sense for one to approach a fund which has a mixture of both large and mid caps?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question, Sakshi. Actually, over the last 4 or 5 years, the regulator, which is SEBI, and the sector body, which is AMFI, have come up with very, very specific regulations on what your fund uh, name is, what you are trying to do, and what should the investor buy into.
Hmm.
So, like we discussed yesterday, in FlexiCap, there is complete flexibility in the case of a fund manager to buy
Yeah.
any kind of market capitalization across any geography. In the case of equity, large cap and mid caps, there is a predefined list of 250, 300 shares in which fund managers can pick and choose. So when you and I, as an investor, get into this fund, we know very clearly what the fund manager's universe of investing is, and he cannot go beyond that.
Hmm.
Therefore, it is named in a manner which a simple investor can understand that this is what I am buying, and I am buying this from this corpus of 250, 200 shares, which have, which change every quarter. For instance,
Okay.
when you see this rally that's happening over the last 6 months, there are
Hmm.
some mid caps, there are some small caps that have become mid caps. They have doubled in price and
Sure.
therefore market capitalization. So they have come up into this universe. Similarly, some mid caps would have fallen. So they have come down from this universe. So the
Hmm.
universe keeps on changing. A lot of mid caps have become large caps, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
similarly, that's the universe that you and I and millions of our viewers uh, buy into when you see names like Motilal Oswal large and mid cap fund. The
Yeah.
clarity that the regulator has asked fund managers and AMCs to provide is to stick to the name and to stick to the breed that they have to invest in. Sakshi.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.